We have a guest this second hour, Merce. If you could introduce it, I'll get everything moving.
We do. We're being joined by a congressional candidate from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Caroline Avery is joining us, and she is primarying against what's the guy's name? I gotta look at the guy's name. Sorry, it's
Fitzpatrick.
I know it's a fellow potato eater like myself, who's more of like a neocon. This is another one of those kind of uprising races, right?
Yeah. So welcome.
Oh yeah. So welcome to the show.
Oh yeah.
So tell us what's going on.
Hi, Royce and
Mersh, Mike, whatever.
Mike, you call him whatever you want. It's fine. We don't like him anyway. So what's going on? You switched parties to run? Is that what I heard?
Yes. Actually, my name is Caroline Avery, and I'm running for the 1st Congressional District, PA01. That's a U.S. House seat. My opponent is FBI agent / Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. We call him lovingly Brino.
I love it.
And yeah, right, Brino. I was always an independent voter. And then in 2015, 2016, both my husband and myself felt the country was going really in the wrong direction. We registered as Republicans so that we could vote in the primary for Donald Trump. So that really was my extent of my intertanglings with the Republicans. Fast forward to about 2019, a lot of people were showing their dislike for Brian Fitzpatrick, and for good reason, and they came to me and asked me if I would run. And because I was registered as a Republican, I entered into that race, and within day one was immediate pushback, immediate problems from day one.
Now, why do you think? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that you started getting you got pushback?
Immediately, because immediately they came to me with I don't know who they thought they were dealing with, some whole other person, but immediately they came to me with things like, maybe you should run in this race instead. I'm not an ass looking for a seat. I was looking to unseat, period. They started with come to these dinners and just all kind of baloney. I come from professional horse racing. I know what bullshit looks like, and it was bullshit. And it didn't get better at all. It only got worse. And the more that I would not allow them to corrupt me, the worse it got. But, I just kept going anyway. It was what it was. I didn't let it bother me too much.
Now,
anyway, what happened was they tried to stop me at every turn. They, harassed me, all that other stuff. I got my signatures. Against all odds. They, trashed me on Facebook. I'm talking about the rhinos, not Republicans. I met a bunch of great Republican conservatives that I'm to this day really good friends with. But so they harassed me. Even some famous people harassed me, and I've got the proof of that too. And I was getting ready to withdraw from the race because I just didn't want to deal with any of these people anymore. I just didn't want to deal with them. They're no good. And then they slapped me with the Elias group. A challenge to my signatures, and on its face I could see that it was malicious, because I knew that many of these signatures were a bunch of my friends. I knew for a fact these were good signatures, so that just kind of pissed me off. So instead of withdrawing, I went down to the Supreme Court and I proved to my satisfaction that they were malicious, and then I withdrew my petition and withdrew my candidacy. And within 48 hours, I joined the Libertarian Party because they had already reached out to me via Second Amendment organizations and stuff like that, because I'm a good candidate. And so that's my story for that.
So this guy is he's an FBI agent. He's not even from Bucks County, right? He's from Philly. Mm-hmm. So he's one of these guys that just is now. I heard something to the effect of that this guy supports the assault weapons ban, or I hate even saying the word assault weapon, but basically he supports stricter gun control, right?
That's putting it mildly. And I think that's awful rich of a man who's an FBI agent who's going to be able to carry a firearm for his entire life because he's an FBI agent. So he doesn't really care. Rules for thee, but not for me. And, this is hearsay, but I'm going to say it anyway because I talked to a lot of people. I probably talked to about 15,000 individuals. One of his friends told me that in a private conversation, which I'm just saying, this is just hearsay, that he told a friend of his that he thought no one should have guns except for police and the military. And I said, would you go on the record with that? And of course they said no, because everybody's afraid of him. So being afraid of your congressman is not a good thing. And that is, if that's the only thing to run on, you should run on that, because being afraid of your government is not okay.
So they look, and by the way, I believe that. I think a lot of rhinos, and there's a lot of, as I like to call them, Dan Crenshaw types who say a lot of stuff. But when it comes down to it, they don't care if you have guns. They really do believe that the military and the police should be the only ones that have it. And you're not the first candidate that we've heard that from. We interviewed Anthony Sabatini, who had the same issue, where he's like, a bunch of rhinos, like Kevin McCarthy's throwing money to my opponents, and I'm like, what do you do? At that point, you have the entire neocon infrastructure basically funding your opponent. It's really difficult, no matter how good of a candidate you are, to push through it.
Well, it gets worse because we have people who work for the GOP as like treasurers and things like that. Those are my objectors, and they are using the Elias firm as their lawyers. First of all, where are these people who are committee people and just treasurers for like the local GOP? Where are they getting the money for these huge law firms? Like, follow the money, okay? Just anything. This is like round 3 for me to stop me from competing. And it's not just the one offense with Brian. I mean, let's just get it here. We're not being represented, not even remotely right. This 3-term congressman agent, Brian Fitzpatrick, his voting record, he censured Trump. He voted to Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee seats, and I understand the depth of that. That means that her constituents don't get their voice represented properly in Washington, D.C., and that's absolutely unacceptable. Let's see, what else did he do? He voted for the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. He most recently voted for the HR 1808, which is the gun ban, the semi-automatic gun ban. There's our friend Brino right there.
He's in not in 2018, but in 2018 debate, he brought up the fact that he at one point was stationed in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yes. So here we go. So he's also behind the $40 billion to Ukraine. Speaking of Ukraine, let's see. Did Brian work for James Comey in 2015 as the special prosecutor under the Obama-Biden administration during all the Burisma debacle? Okay, and couldn't find anybody to prosecute.
So
your leader.
Wow, I mean, Rhino. This is just basic.
He's one of the 9 Republicans that voted to hold Bannon in contempt. Too.
Are you serious? Yeah. Oh my! This
is a classic like January 6th guy. That's like. So you guys, I didn't know you guys. I didn't know you guys had like your own little like Liz Cheney up there in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's basically what he is.
You got yourself your own little, except with FBI Liz Cheney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very. It's very nefarious, and it takes brass balls to go against this guy. I am in no way a male, but I have a spine and a backbone, and I've had it. I am done. I am done with this crap, doing this to our country, and doing this to the American people. Do you know how many people in my community are afraid of their congressmen? This is unacceptable. I won't have it. I'm done with it.
Wow.
I'm done with it. This guy has stayed completely silent on the January 6ers, okay, with their loss of their Fourth Amendment right. We have due process in this country. I don't care what you did. I don't care if you killed your sister. You need to be held accountable for crimes and things like that. But we have a thing called due process in this country. He's stayed completely quiet about this. A friend of mine even said they had him come speak at an event for them. And when they brought it up, he acted like he didn't even know what it was. He said, huh? So he let
Wow.
those people, and a lot of those people are from up this area. He let those people sit there and rot in jail. A congressman, a sitting congressman.
You know, I'm really glad you're saying something about that because I think that's something that this has happened. That's happening a lot. Is specifically with the January 6th stuff. Like it really has shown the true colors of what people are doing. Like there's a lot of Republicans that need to be taken to task for not saying something. That just not only saying something, agreeing. Like Lindsey Graham. You have guns, use them. It's that level of they disdain for you. And this guy, man, I'm funny because I went to thank you, Virgie, by the way, to Open Secrets and third highest contributor, Royal Bank of Canada.
What?
Yeah. Then No Labels, which is like some weird coalition. Yeah, man, it's always the money. When you look at the Atlas Holdings, Republican Jewish Coalition, I mean, Big Cat Rescue, Carol Baskins.
Oh my
Hold
God.
on a second.
Oh my God.
Are you telling me that crazy woman, Carol? Oh my God.
The one who may or may not have fed her husband to tigers?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Caroline.
Got endorsed by Gabby Giffords gun grabbers, okay, which should have gone to his Democrat opponent.
Right.
Okay, so he's basically a one-horse race because he doesn't win anything. He stops other people from competing. Okay?
Yeah.
This guy is a bad guy. No business. He has no business having a seat like this, none whatsoever in public. And also, I want to say that his signs and his motto say one community. I think he spelled communist wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's it's funny because I'm looking through the people that donate, and I'm trying to Big Cat. We live in Florida, so I'm Big Cat Rescue is that old Carol Baskin Tiger King thing, but she lives here. Why would Big Cat Rescue, which is a Florida cat rescue thing, donate so much money to a Pennsylvania race? I'm sorry, these things
seems
are
weird.
There's a lot of weird stuff here. Like obviously you know more about him than we do, but even just like the eyeball, like us first looking at it, this guy is shady in like 50 different ways. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, yes, I do. And the thing is I really want to bring this to your attention, and I hope a lot of people see this.
Sure.
Because win, lose, or draw, this ain't over. This ain't over by a long shot because I'm committed. This is not going to end until it's going to end because this guy is doing the wrong thing on a regular basis, and he's getting away with it. He's not being held accountable whatsoever. He's not doing anything about the child trafficking. He's putting Ukraine before our Pennsylvania. It just goes on and on and on, and he cares nothing. It doesn't faze him whatsoever. We can never forget that this guy is an FBI agent.
Yeah. I mean, that to me, by the way, that to me is always, and especially,
there's a lot of them running now. And
it's
stuff.
odd.
It's
That's
very
what I'm
weird.
saying.
Like a lot of these like ex-intelligence people, and it's like, I don't like that.
It is very weird to me because it is a lot of that. It's right off the bat when it's an ex FBI agent. I'm like, wait, something shady. There's something weird. And I know it sucks to think that way, but you have to now because I mean, man, they're raiding people that did nothing. They're raiding people.
They're taking the pillow guy's phone away.
Yeah, they're taking the My Pillow guy at a
They're
Hardee's.
literally subpoenaing the My Pillow guy taking his phone. Man, this is getting like dystopian.
Yeah. I have people who signed my petition that are total strangers to me. They just signed my petition, right, to get me on the ballot. I've done legally, ethically, and morally. I've done everything I'm supposed to do to get on the ballot and compete, okay? And somebody from his office contacted them and told them that somebody was going to jail. They had tried to intimidate her. They showed her a screenshot of my petitions. They work at Bryant for Brian, or they were working on his behalf because she wrote me a letter. She wrote me an affidavit and told them that I was a Democrat and that I was unseating a Republican and that I was a liar. First of all, those things are not true. Second of all, she fought back. She said, how dare, she said, those are my signatures. That is my signature, my husband's signature. And how dare you call me and threaten me with jail? They went to one of my circulators and team members' house and threatened them. Okay, we're putting the pieces together, and threatened him in front of his wife and family and children.
this is
Go look at my.
it's honestly a couple of years ago I probably would have been like, you sound crazy,
But now,
crazy person. But like this is becoming more like with the stuff
Well,
we
they're
know,
gonna peg me.
the stuff we know happening with other people too.
well,
It's
but I
like-
mean, if the guy's an FBI agent, you know he has friends and you know he has resources. And I'm sorry to say it, but that's the truth. And if it's of course gang intimidate. It happens all the time. They intimidate you. It's what it is. And it's amazing. The only thing that I am glad about is that I think the one thing that it's coming to light has been how many rhinos there really are. And when you really start looking into them, you start looking into like, oh, you work for Obama. Oh, you work for the. Oh, wait, that's weird. So you're a Republican. I mean, my thing is the Republican Party needs to be just cleaned out from top to bottom from a lot of these old money neocons and the Mitch McConnells and this guy. What I got to tell you. Like Mersh just said, if you would have said that like 10 years ago, you'd be like, okay, yeah, right. But now you're like, they're doing it right now. And you know what the crazy part is, Caroline, is that they're not even back in the day they used to hide it. They're telling you they're doing it and they're proud of it. They're saying it's for democracy that this guy needs to be there, and they'll slander you and they'll say the worst things about you and they'll intimidate you.
Okay, so you got rhinos and progressives.
Yeah.
Those to me are code words for commies. Okay, let's hear what I'm a gun owner of America endorsed candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
right. Yeah,
gun owners of America saw fit to endorse me, a libertarian. Okay, this should have been easily secured by a good Republican, correct?
Of course.
Let's hear what the gun owners of America has to say about Brian. They say, I am proud to endorse Caroline Avery for Congress in the Pennsylvania's 1st Congressional District. Anti-gun Congressman Fitzpatrick continues to violate the constitutionally protected rights of gun owners. He was one of the 2 Republicans voted for the 1808, which so-called assault ban that would outlaw just about every semi-automatic firearm in circulation. But Brian's offenses don't stop here. Here are some more. He sponsored the Closing the Bump Stock Loophole Act, co-sponsored the bipartisan background checks, enhanced background checks, and it just goes on and on and on with this guy. It's never ending. He's totally unremorseful, and he's it's just a matter of fact. Like, he's just taking it for granted. And I'm really starting to bother these people, and for good reason. For good reason. They need to be bothered. This needs to come out. This needs to come out in light to what they're doing with all of this. And we have kept good records. Mm-hmm. There are many people that are very that have much good integrity. They can be relied upon for testimony. We're just going. I'm going to keep going on. This has to stop. It's not just the Democrats.
So real quick, Caroline, just because I want to make sure we get this out there. For you specifically, what can people do? Like, what can people that are in your area? What can they do to help help you out?
They can definitely need that.
Right.
Go to Caroline for Congress, spelled out FOR.US. Okay, I don't know if you can put that up on your.
Yeah, I'll put
thing,
it up.
But I'd be grateful if you.
Sure.
We're real true grassroots. I'm all over the place, so anybody that wants to help is welcome to help. Mostly donate and word of mouth. Word of mouth. He wants to make sure that other people don't know that anybody else is in the race. I just was invited to an Oz event right in my own backyard, which is his backyard. And the first flyer said that he was going to be a speaker there. So I definitely wanted to show up. And I went to the event, and Brian was a no-show.
How do you feel about...
So he doesn't show up at events.
Go ahead, Mersh.
Oh, no, I was going to say, how do you feel about Dr. Oz or whatever?
Well, I feel that I have to worry about my race and let Dr. Oz worry about his race right now. That's how I feel about
that's fair.
that.
That's
Good
what
answer.
honestly
Solid
that's absolute that's a fair answer. And remember, like, we're from Florida, so we don't really know we don't get to we only know about your race is what you see on the national news and stuff like that. But I'll be honest with you, I was a little taken aback by even just like Mercer's doing and I doing just a cursory Google on this Brian Fitzpatrick guy. there's a lot of red flags. You're like, oh, this guy,
FBI, Ukraine,
money, and
it's a lot of weird,
and stuff like that. So I guess the next question that I this is because it's topical, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know this. What do you think about what's happening in Martha's Vineyard and the illegal immigrants being bussed there?
I think it's brilliant. I think that it should have been done a long time ago, because it really doesn't suffer anybody but, hardworking folks like myself that live on the outskirts of a big city when you do this. And I don't bash anybody from wanting to come to America. I can understand that, but I think they exactly need to be put right there in those people's backyard and let them suffer the consequences. This whole monarchy thing. And I really need to get back to this. Brian is an FBI agent. So many people are so angered, and he's canceled them all. Him and his few group of people have canceled them all. Many of these veterans and gun owners and gun, target places and stuff like that, they feel absolutely humiliated because they've been tricked by him. And so when I went to speak to them, I said, forgive yourself, because this is a trained agent. They call them special agents for a reason. They're specially trained to lie and to deceive and to go about going unnoticed. So it doesn't really matter that I'm up here and you don't know about him. If he was in Florida, there's a good reason. There's a reasonable understanding that you might not hear about him there either.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the whole, just keep all the connections low key. Hey, I'm a guy just like you. Look at me. I believe in these values. But at the end of the day, they never really. I mean, just look at what's going on. They never really have your back. Yeah, they do what they're honestly, that's what I believe. It's like ex-FBI agent. I'm a big believer of, like, I don't really think you ever are really an ex-FBI agent, though, I mean, a lot of if they call you and go, hey, man, I need you to help me out. How much control... That's my issue with any of the three-letter agencies, by the way. I mean, first off, I don't think the ATF should exist, so let's start there. But followed by the IRS promptly after.
And the EPA.
But any time you see somebody that has a hierarchy like that where they are controlled, you're like, well, what do these puppet strings look like? I mean, at the end of the day, if they go, look, hey, we're gonna raid people and we need you to be all for it. Hey, we're gonna raid people in Bucks County. Hey, we're doing it now, and then he'll be like, yeah, no, I agree. These are criminals. If they tell him to do it, I don't really think that you ever stop being a CIA agent or an FBI agent. You might not do the work every day, but if they call you to do a favor, most of these guys, they're going to do it.
You don't. Listen, he also signed in that Equality Act that lets men participate in women's sports. I mean, this guy is an absolute...
How is this guy a Republican?
How is he I mean, I know it's what you're saying exactly, but he signed the let trans people compete with women thing too?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on with this guy. On and on and on. There's not enough. And and he depends on that too. I think it was May of 2020 or 2019, was it? Yeah, May of 2020. He wasn't sure if he was going to vote for Joe Biden or Donald Trump. I mean, say what you want about Donald Trump and his personality,
right? But
if you're a Republican congressman and in May, before the November presidential election, you haven't decided, he's not on anybody's team. And I don't think he's the top of the food chain by a long shot. But I've got a lot of fight on me right now, and I speak out, so I'm not overly concerned about it, but there's a certain amount of concern about it.
Oh, okay. I just pulled up. This is amazing. I mean, you really have opened my eyes a lot. I went to his campaign page.
Every one of these
equality and diversity, and he's walking around with a pride flag.
His entire website. I'm looking at all of his positions here.
Yeah.
They're literally all Democratic positions.
Every single one. This is
a group on both times of my cases trying to boot me off the ballot. The Elias group. Do you know who that is? Do you know who Mark Elias is?
No, please.
You better Google him.
Yeah, go ahead. Please, no, let us know. Actually would like to know.
On the Elias Group's homepage, he helped pay for the Steele dossier, I think.
Yeah.
On his homepage, it says, we are committed. Okay, so he uses the word committed. We are committed to getting Democrats elected and helping progressives get elected. So why are GOP Republican objectors against me using that law firm to hurt me? Because it's a uniparty. We don't have choices. We do not have choices. Those people, the rhinos and the progressives, pick the candidates that we get to choose from, and that's it. That's not choice. That is not choice.
Oh my God! The quintessential. I'm just going through his stances. The quintessential adjective used around the word to describe to me that America is a word of free. Freedom means freedom for everybody. LGBTQ Americans are part of the fabric of society and should be free to exercise the right guaranteed every American by which the Constitution to participate fully in society. Okay.
So what is it at this point that LGBT people aren't?
Is there something happening we don't know about?
Are they not getting house loans? Are they like getting shut out of jobs?
In Congress,
what they're doing is they're harming gay people. Okay, they're using gay people. I grew up. I'm a surfer girl from the '60s. Okay, '60s and '70s. You don't get more hippie type than me. I lived in Miami during when all that stuff was going down with the the AWACS with Reagan and all that stuff. And listen, gay people in general, they don't have all these issues and any of that. This is their private business.
Right.
But what they're doing is they're separating everybody by these pronouns and whether you're a Republican, Democrat, gay, lesbian, this, that, trans. They're confusing our children. The children are terrified to look in their underpants, and some of the adults.
You're right. No, it's true. I mean, that's 100% true. Now, and then
he's helping.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, I believe it. It's how was he with COVID? That's something I guess you would know better than us. How was he with the whole COVID thing?
He was with Richard Levine, who's now the health secretary for Joe Biden. Richard Levine, aka
Rachel Levine,
Admiral.
Oh shit!
Oh yes. Yeah, that's right.
What he missed with me? He's been with me for all this time. I mean, this guy is really. I mean, he makes Liz Cheney look like I don't know, maybe Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, no,
this guy, he's got that father. I mean, so.
Dude, wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's that Bucks County's got a hell of a fucking weird rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah, you guys, wow, this is insane. I'm looking at this now like, yeah, this guy, I mean.
Millions. Well, we have about, in my district, okay, because there's a little bit of Montgomery County, all of Bucks County, and there's give or take about 675,000 people. And we're hurting. We need help. And we're not getting it from these people. That's for darn sure. People are pulling for me. They're angry. He's actually, by trying to stop me from competing on the ballot, he's actually going to make it worse on himself. Why can't he just beat me on the merits? I'm a housewife that lives on Morris Street. Why can't this FBI agent, 3-term congressman, lawyer, his brother was a congressman, he's a prosecutor for Ukraine under Comey. Why can't he just beat me? Why does he have to stop me via, I call it lawfare?
Right. Right. Well, that's true. I mean, if they threaten to arrest everybody, or even worse, tie you up in frivolous legal battles, that listen, let's be honest, that's a great way to shut people down. If people can't afford to fight legally, what do you do? What do you do? And it really is amazing. Go ahead.
Boy, I'm so sorry. I get very passionate. You keep going. You be your own lawyer. I was my own first case against Elias Group. And I spun those boys around like a top, and they didn't like it a little bit, and they've come back for seconds, and they are not playing. And so I have an attorney this time, thank goodness, but they are not playing. I am not their friend.
I mean,
they were humiliated, and yes.
Wow. I mean, this is honestly, I got to tell you, very, very eye opening, because everybody talks about the big stuff, but I mean, there's so much. There's so much corruption going on locally, and I think these local elections and these congressional elections like matter so much more because that's like your city, your county. This is where you live. This is where you are, and those are the little things. Because we figured out during COVID, you don't really realize how much power local government has over you until they enact these emergency powers that you didn't know that they had, and then they go, look, hey, every single food place is closed now, and you don't got to go outside.
Hey, we're flattening the curve.
We're flattening the curve. That's what's happening. We're all flattening the curve, and everyone get 53 vaccines, I guess, or whatever. It is really nice that the Libertarian Party at least gave you a home. Are you going to be on the ballot?
Well, we're in the Supreme Court now. Okay, they tied my case with another case who was an absolute loser. Even my lawyer, they tried to get that lawyer to cover them. And my lawyer said, no, that's a loser. Caroline's a winner. This case is a loser. When we get to court, this other person that is a loser comes straggling along and on my tail and queers the whole case. I mean, it's absolutely bizarro. But we appealed it, and I have to have faith to a degree. Okay, I have faith. I have to have faith. I have to pray and have faith. The good people of this district want to see me on the ballot. Over 6,000 people signed my petition to get me on the ballot. I was only required to get a little over 2,300 and change. Okay? So, counting with the ones I got before, over 6,000 people in this district, and that's only because I got 2 feet. If I had 4 feet, I would have been able to get 12,000. They won't. He's stopping the American people in his own district from being able to have a choice to vote for anybody else except for him.
It really.
It's not. This is not a local race. This is a big deal. This is a U.S. House state.
Yes,
I mean U.S. Federal. Okay? I could make a difference. I am ready to be congresswoman on day one. I have already done more for election integrity than Brian Fitzpatrick will ever do because they can't print the ballots and put them in the little mailbox real fast until my case gets cleared up because they wanted to print them last week and start mailing them in. So I've already done more than he's ever done.
Are you getting any help from the Libertarian Party? Are you getting a little support from those guys? Or
extremely kind to me. It's been the exact opposite of what I saw in the Rhino GOP. Let me make it very clear. I met a ton of conservative people that love me and are still behind me, and they'll vote for me. In fact, they even want to write me in. Okay, if it comes to it, it's that bad. It's that bad. People are so irate over it, and to stop me from competing is it's un-American. And so the Libertarian Party, they're just like, wow, because I'm a fireball. They're like, oh my God, this was totally a winnable race for me. This could be a winnable race, and this is why they're trying to stop me. But if he's so great, then he should welcome competition, but especially from a woman. But he doesn't care about that.
I get that
either.
And it's funny you say that, Carol, because I was actually, when you look at his website, one of the tabs is women empowerment, and he's taking you through the ringer and using the government to try to stop you. He's really empowering you. It really is. It really goes to show you.
You send jackbooted thugs to intimidate women? You're treating them just as equal as the men that you're enemies with. I say that's empowering.
I mean, it's really insane to me. And I got to tell you, Caroline, I mean, I don't want to speak for much, but I'm actually really impressed because considering all this adversity that you're going through and actually seeing what this dude's about on our own, just looking it up, it really is impressive how hard you're fighting back. And I'm glad that they can't even send them out yet. I'm glad that you just threw that wrench in there and be like, no, let's solve this now, right?
I have got true grit, and I've had enough. I have had enough. I am going all the way through. No matter if the Supreme Court says yay, the Supreme Court says nay, it's going to be the same for me. I'm going through this guy. This is enough for our country. And the thing about it is like when you get someone like me that is willing to go like this all the way through,
yep.
Get hope. They get hope, and they start They start coming around. It's like I'm the mellow yellow car. You know that the movie with the Tom Cruise with the race car drivers, and they have
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder. I love that movie.
The Coke car and the mellow yellow car are really owned by the same sponsor. So let's call the sponsor the American people.
Yeah.
Okay. But the Coke car the Coke car crashes, which is Brian Fitzpatrick, one big crash. Okay. And then the mellow yellow car gets into the pits and there's got nobody to really help them. And all of a sudden they go, get over there, change the tires, do all that. And the mellow yellow car wins. And I can totally be the mellow yellow car.
Well, look,
I need help.
And again, you know, we've been posting your link. I'm going to clip this interview and put it up, of course, where people can go and donate. We're coming up here, you know, towards the end, but is there anything else, Merce, that you?
No, I'm willing to support her over my own people.
Yeah.
My own potato people.
There you go, and that's saying a lot.
Making me turn my back on a Fitzpatrick. But you know what?
This guy's earned it.
A Fed's a Fed.
A Fed's a Fed.
The good news is, if I get on the ballot, I tell them to this. What's the big deal? Put me on the ballot. God knows you have plenty of things to try to discredit me with. Let him do that. Why can't he try to discredit me? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm probably afraid you're going to split the vote.
You
know, they're probably afraid you're going to split the vote, and then, you know, the Democrat will sneak in.
Listen, sneak in. So they're going to fix it for us so
Right.
that we don't get what they don't want. No, free and fair elections.
100%.
This is the deal. You get the government you deserve, and we all get it, not just the people who deserve it.
And you know, Caroline, I
better get it. Get.
I tell you what, I wish I was there because you would have my vote for sure. We really do appreciate you coming on, and you know what, I tell you what, the next time you come, you're welcome on whenever you'd like, but hopefully one day we're saying a Congressman Caroline Avery when you come in. So I really do hope so.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm very passionate. I hope I didn't take up too much of your time.
Not at all.
No, of course not.
I try to stay on point. I want to close our borders, open up our economy. Men aren't women. The government, get out of your bedroom. Let's get it together, people, for the kids.
Yes, thank you so much, Caroline.
How's that sound?
Wonderful. Thank you, Caroline, so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
And good luck.
CarolineForCongress.us.
That's right. Take it easy. Bye. Man, that honestly, bro, when we did this interview, I was like, okay, it's going to be a normal interview, but it's like the rabbit hole that both of us were going through with this guy.
Pennsylvania's fucked up,
bro. Dude, this guy was doing everything. You can look it up. This guy was doing everything she was saying. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on in this state?
Definitely getting that regional PA thing. I was getting that JRC3 vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Poconos.
That's got to be a regional thing, right?
It is.
Yeah.
She was great. I really enjoyed her.